Ever wondered how to build a successful AI community? How to get all the right people in the same room or in the same group and really get something out of it? To be so successful that you're even backed by a VC? This is the story of the AGI House, the largest and strongest AI builders hub in the Bay Area. I'm sitting with Henry Yin, the CTO of AGI House, to learn how they started, how they managed to produce that strong of a community, and what's the future for AGI House. Join in. Hi everybody, welcome to another YAAP podcast by AI21. I'm Yuval, and today I'm with Henry from AGI House. Hi Henry.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Well, I'm actually at your place right now, but thank you so much for taking time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that AI communities is something that it's very, very big right now, and everybody's talking about AI. Everybody wants to talk with people about AI, but not a lot of people manage to find this place or essentially build a place for people to talk with each other. And you managed to do that. So I find this really, really exciting, and I really want to know, how did you do it? And
Amazing. So first of all, it's not my personal effort, so this is like a community effort. We actually started off 3 years ago. Back then, it wasn't called AGI House. It was a group of friends, AI researchers, from Stanford, Berkeley, and other top AI labs, wanting to improve our own life quality during pandemic. So we picked a place in Hillsborough, which is at the middle point between SF and Palo Alto. And then we ran this place, and then everyone was living here and having fun discussions on, where AI is going. And that gradually turned into this 13,000 researchers, founders, engineers community in the past 3 years.
So 3 years ago, what was the state? Which type of models were already outside? What was everybody talking about?
I think when we first started, ChatGPT hasn't been launched yet. So it was still the GPT-3 era that people are starting to believe that the field are moving super fast and then it's going to be a revolution. But I think the larger world maybe hasn't seen the ChatGPT moment yet. Yeah.
So you said you started 3 years ago, just a group of friends talking about AI, talking about how to build it, researchers. What happens between then and to this day where you're essentially a powerhouse here in SF, in the world? Walk me through the process.
Yeah, so I think a key inflection point is the launch of ChatGPT and GPT 3.5. That's when the entire world see the power of LLMs, right? And people naturally wanted to build applications, imagine the future. So credit to my co-founder, Rocky. He took over the house at the beginning of 2023 and then rebranded to AGI House. Since then, we have been hosting a bunch of builder events like hackathons, brainstorming events for the founders, also researcher events, deep dives, paper reading clubs, and build this very vibrant ecosystem. I think we have probably hosted close to 100 hackathons across different themes in the past 2 years. Some of them, the early days, is more technical. For example, how do you fine tune a model when fine tuning is still very over the hype? And then also, how do you do, for example, RAG? How do you build RAG system in early 2023? And then later on, we also did reasoning stuff, multimodal stuff. And then this year, we're starting to do more application in different sub verticals. We did fintech, e-commerce, and legal. So now I think we are seeing more and more application builders focusing on different domains.
And what would you say, guessing that you wanted to, I'm not even sure, at the beginning, did you want to grow the community, or you did all those events just for having fun? You just wanted to, what was the goal? It was always to get where you are here, or did it kind of happen?
We never saw that we're gonna get to where we are now. But I think everything on the way now, if you're looking back, if you have the hindsight, I think everything is very natural, right? Because we are basically riding on this transformational wave of AI evolution for the society. Yeah.
And from the events that you did, let's say that I want to build community of my own right now. What would you say were the most successful events, or what would you do differently, or what did you do that actually worked really, really well? More hackathons, more paper clubs,
I think people is everything, right? I think I think that on Twitter there's a time where people say OpenAI is nothing without its people. I think same for AGI House. I think besides that we have a really strong core community. Some of them, are co-founders of top AI labs right now. They were very actively participating in our discussions early days. So that really helped, start get the initial momentum for the community. Besides that, I would say huge, props to our team doing this. I think there are so many successful AI communities. I think one thing I think special about AGI House is that we actually putting a lot of love in all of the events that we do. It's not just a create an event page on Luma or Partyful. We actually think about, for each event, we see it as an opportunity for us to deepen our knowledge into the domain, and then for us to to build a community around that thesis. So for each event, we think about who are the right people, the audience, the speakers to get together. So we aim to make each of our event like an industry analyst event that get all the best people working on this topic together and have a meaningful discussion.
As someone who's doing an event right now in the house, I can totally vouch for that. This is another level, I think, of events than I'm used to. So really props for that. Mm-hmm. And now I know that you are a big community, but at some point, I remember this is, I think, our third or fourth event. At some point, it felt like there was a lot more VC collaboration with the hackathons, at least. How did it happen?
Yeah, I think the early days, thanks to our generous VC friends, many of our initial events were sponsored by our VC friends. And as more of our community members, including our residents, start working on their own startups, including Pika Labs, Coframe, Martian, then it makes sense for us, like the AGI House community itself, to have our own early stage VC fund. So we did the initial closing of the VC fund at the end of last year. The fund is called, as you can guess, AGI House Ventures. And then we back the best in class pre-seed and seed stage startups. Yeah, and then we try to find the raw talent and then help them navigate through the process of starting their own companies.
And this is based on pitches they did in your hackathons, or just people participating in events, or just come here and networking, or?
Great question. I think from all sources, we have seen companies coming out of our hackathon winners, but we also have the entire community is helping us identifying who are the founders coming back. Yeah. Cool. I think one story I want to share is the company Martian that I just mentioned actually was our GPT-4 hackathon winner back in April of 2023, and then they immediately raised a seed round from NEA afterward. I think now they already closed another Series A round.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I always have in every hackathon that I'm going to, you always hear the same. I think the Zapier was formed in a hackathon. There are these stories, and it's so amazing that there are more stories right now like Martian. And I'm sure that there are several more stories, at least that about those type of things, which I think is really exciting. What would you say to someone who wants to build community or to get involved? What would be best tips?
For someone who wants to get involved, so we have all of our events published on our newsletter as well as social media. So we welcome all the passionate builders to join us at AGI House. For people who are looking to build community, I would say anchor your community with the right people. I think that's really important. Yeah.
And even if I'm not from the Bay Area, how can I interact with the AGI House or?
So one thing we're doing more and more is that we are going out. So we haven't started any branches of AGI House yet, but we are starting to host more AGI House branded events in Boston, in New York, in DC, and hopefully LA soon.
Cool. And just one thing before we wrap up, what's the future for AGI House?
Wow, that's a deep question I have to think about.
It seems that you started right as a small community. You're now both a venture capital, you're a big community. What maybe the natural directions that you think about to go next? Or
I think one thing, I think this is actually from a very good friend, also a family member of AGI House, Tim Shi. I think he wants that house is just a form factor, right? I know we should not be limited by house. I think could be also be like AGI rocket or AGI spaceship. I think that's going to be the future.
So it's such a good answer. I would never expect that. Right?
Awesome.
Thank you so much. It was really, really interesting to get really like a good insight of how you built this place.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
This.